has offered to step down if it would keep his coalition government in place. The country has seen nearly a month of protests against alleged corruption, but there are questions about whether he will actually quit. Damian Vodnicharov reports.
A large meeting in response to ongoing protests. Thousands of delegates of the ruling GERB party came to support Prime Minister Boyko Borissov as he took to the stage.
I'm ready to leave at any time. I don't want there to be any kind of tension because of me. We stand by the unity of the nation, whatever the cost, because we have difficult times ahead of us. And I'm not saying this just to scare people.
Borissov's call for unity was not heard by the anonymous security detail in the meeting, however, as hecklers were driven away and beaten. Journalists were also attacked and their phones were repeatedly thrown to the ground. A few hours later, protesters gathered for their daily rally.
Prime Minister Boyko Borissov said that he is ready to step down in favor of a new government. For the protesters, however, that is not enough. They want a full-blown resignation of the whole cabinet and snap elections to be held. Until then, they will continue blocking major roads in capital Sofia and across the whole country.
These blockades are part of a new protest strategy.
2 weeks ago, the organizers announced a new phase of civil disobedience. So we've been blocking the crosses in Sofia and we've been building these base camps. Our goal is to draw attention to our demands.
Demands have changed little since day one. Resignation of the government, but also of the controversial chief prosecutor Ivan Geshev. Some protesters even went on a hunger strike.
There are 5 people here on hunger strike, but more are joining in. We tried to convince an elderly person to quit because he really wasn't well. It's just not worth it to sacrifice your life for someone like the Prime Minister.
Bulgaria's next parliamentary elections are scheduled for the spring. Recent polls are suggesting drawbacks for both the ruling GERB party and the socialist opposition.
Well, we can go to the Bulgarian capital, Sofia, now to speak to Damian, who's there for us. Morning to you. You said in your report there that the Prime Minister's resignation offer is not enough for the protesters. Why is that? What is it exactly that they would want that would stop this nearly month-long set of protests now?
Good morning. The protesters have been calling for the whole government to resign since day one. And they have also been calling for the chief prosecutor to resign. That is Ivan Geshev. Very controversial figure, a very powerful figure within the Bulgarian political scene since he stepped into office. Soon after stepping into office, for instance, he said that he doesn't really believe in the separation of powers. So he's a man who doesn't shy from controversy. He recently also inquired whether he could investigate the president, who has legal immunity while he is in office. What sparked the protest as well was a raid into the president's office by the prosecutor's office. 2 of the president's aides were arrested and they were charged with corruption. So that is partially what also sparked the current protest wave in Bulgaria. Protesters are also calling for some major legal changes. Some of them want the whole constitution to be revised or to be amended. They also are calling for a new voting system to be implemented. That is machine voting. That is supposed to rid the electoral system of any kind of fraud that has been plaguing Bulgarian politics ever since the fall of communism 30 years ago. So there is a really broad expectations for change, for major change. And that is also happening at every major protest wave. People are calling for the whole model of politics